Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC accountancy online classes. Students, in the previous class we have solved problem number 11 of your question bank. Now I will take up problem number 12. That is last problem of this chapter, I think. Yes, it is last problem. Let us analyze the problem. I will read out the problem. In the meantime, we will analyze and then we will solve the problem. Okay. Problem number 12, question bank, page number 133. From the following particulars, calculate net assets turnover ratio, fixed assets turnover ratio, working capital turnover ratio, operating profit ratio, return on capital employed ratio, and earning per share ratio. Isn't it? Revenue from operations given, net fixed assets, working capital, operating profit is given, profit after interest and tax, that is profit after tax, isn't it? Interest and tax, that is part, interest and tax expenses, dividend paid to preference shares, capital employed, equity share capital of rupees 10 each. That means share capital is 1 lakh divided into 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So shares are of face value rupees 10. There are 10,000 shares, right? Now let us find out these ratios. Let us start problem number 12. Point A. First point, it is A, isn't it? It is 12. It's A. Net assets turnover ratio, right? Net assets turnover ratio. Net assets turnover ratio. Net assets turnover ratio, that is NATR. NATR is equal to, net assets turnover ratio is equal to, write the formula, revenue from operations divided by capital employed, right? Revenue from operations divided by operations divided by capital employed. Capital employed. Revenue from operations given in the problem, therefore NATR is equal to that is 15 lakh given in the problem, isn't it? Then capital employed, it is also given in the problem as 40 lakh, isn't it? So let us solve it. 15 lakh revenue from operations divided by 40 lakh, isn't it, is equal to, therefore NATR is equal to how much it is? 0.375 times. 0.375 times, isn't it? But in your question bank, something else is given as answer. 36.59 times it is given. I don't know how they got this answer. Whatever it is, I will solve in a proper way. Now, let us move on to the second one, that is a fixed assets turnover ratio. Fixed assets turnover ratio. Point B, fixed assets turnover ratio. That is fixed assets turnover ratio. Fixed assets turnover ratio is equal to net revenue from operation divided by net fixed assets. Am I correct? Yes, net revenue from operations divided by net fixed assets. Write the formula. Operations divided by net fixed assets. Net fixed assets. Therefore, FATR is equal to net revenue from operations given in the problem, right? That is, so revenue from operation itself is net because there are no sales returns, 15 lakh divided by net fixed assets. Net fixed assets already given in the problem as 50 lakh, isn't it? 15 lakh divided by 50 lakh, yes it is. Therefore, FATR is equal to how much? I think 0.3 times. 0.3 times. Yes, it is 0.3 times. Isn't it? Now, let us move on to the third one. Third ratio, point C, working capital turnover ratio. Working capital turnover ratio. Turnover ratio. Working capital turnover ratio. WCTR is equal to net revenue from operation divided by working capital. Revenue from operations divided by working capital. Working capital. WCTR is equal to net revenue from operations given in the problem 15 lakh, isn't it? Divided by working capital. I already told you working capital means what? Current assets minus current liabilities. But in this problem, it is clearly given in the problem itself. So our headache is reduced here. 10 lakh, I think. Yes, isn't it? 15 lakh divided by 10 lakh is equal to 1.5 times. Therefore, WCTR working capital turnover ratio is equal to 1.5 times. 1.5 times. Let us move on to the next one, fourth one, that is operating ratio. Operating ratio. That is OR. OR is equal to, write the formula, operating ratio is equal to cost of revenue from operations plus operating expenses. Cost of revenue from operations plus operating expenses divided by net revenue from operations. Net revenue from operations into 100 into 100, wasn't it? Now substitute the figures. 5 lakh, that is the cost of revenue from operations, sales minus gross profit, actually it is, isn't it? Cost of revenue from operations, sales minus gross profit. Whether gross profit is given in the problem? No. So how we will have to decide it? See there, profit and interest, profit after interest and tax is 3 lakh. If we add operating profit, isn't it, profit after tax, But before that, operating profit will come. Interest and tax expenses are given. Add interest and tax expenses to profit after interest and tax. You will get 5 lakh, isn't it? 5 lakh. So here, current assets minus current liabilities is equal to working capital. Has nothing to do with this. Revenue from operations 15 lakh is given. That is a sales minus. What we have to do is we have to add operating expenses to cost of revenue from operations, then only we will get what? That is operating profit will that is operating expenses and cost of revenue from operations. When we add, then it will become the total expenses including operating expenses, right? So here we have to take 5 lakh, that is 3 lakh plus 2 lakh profit after interest and tax expenses. If we add together, then we will get, that is operating total expenses 5 lakh. Therefore, OR is equal to 5 lakh divided by net revenue from operations. How much it is? 15 lakh into 100. Therefore, OR is equal to how much? 33.33%. 33.33%. 33.33%. Yes. Then next one is return on capital employed ratio. Let us calculate now. Point E, isn't it? Return on capital employed ratio. Capital employed ratio. That is return on capital employed ratio. Return on capital employed ratio is equal to, write the formula here, profit before interest and tax divided by capital employed. Profit before interest and tax divided by capital employed. Capital employed, I already told you, capital employed means either net assets or share capital, that is shareholders funds, plus long term borrowings or non-current liabilities. Non-current liabilities or fixed liabilities plus shareholders funds, isn't it? That is called, that is capital employed or investment. Now let us substitute the figures in the formula. Therefore, ROCER is equal to profit before interest and tax. It is given in the problem. Profit after interest and tax is given. How to calculate profit before interest and tax? So here the question is profit before interest and tax. How to calculate? That is 3 lakh plus 2 lakh. If we add, that is profit before interest and tax. Because profit after interest and tax is how much? 3 lakh. Interest and tax expenses 2 lakh. So add it together. That is profit before interest and tax. Correct? So I'll write here profit before interest and tax is equal to profit after interest and tax plus interest and tax expenses. This is what you have to write. Profit before interest and tax is equal to profit after interest and tax plus interest and tax expenses. Correct? Yes. So 3 lakh plus 2 lakh. 3 lakh plus 2 lakh divided by capital employed. capital employed, that is how much? 40 lakh. Am I correct? How will you calculate? It's given in the problem, 40 lakh. 40 lakh. Otherwise, what you have to do is, you have to take shareholders' funds, then long-term liabilities, if you take together, then it is capital employed is equal to, therefore, ROCER is equal to how much? Simplify it into 100, you have to write 12.5% into 100, isn't it? 12.5%, representing in the form of percentage here. Then it is 12.5% in your question bank. It is given as 12.29, but this is the correct figure, because when you follow the rules of the formula, then you should get this much only, isn't it? Whatever it is, let us move on. Last one, earning per share ratio. Earning per share ratio. Earning per share. Very simple, friends. Profit after tax, that is a PAT, divided by number of equity shares is nothing but earning per share. Earning per share or EPS. EPS is equal to, write the formula, profit after tax divided by number of equity shares. Profit after tax divided by number of equity shares. Profit after tax means what? The amount available after paying everything, isn't it? Which is available to the shareholders for distribution of dividend. So when you have 100 chocolates in a box, isn't it? When you want to distribute it among the students, then each one will get how much? Total number of chocolates divided by number of students. In the same way, total amount available for distribution as dividend divided by number of equity shares. Very simple, friends. So here, 3 lakh minus 1 lakh, because 3 lakh profit after tax available is including the dividend to preference shareholders. So when you deduct the dividend payable to equity preference shareholders, that is the amount available for distribution among the equity shareholders, because preference shareholders, they will get priority over repayment of capital and payment of dividend. Am I correct? Yes. So what we have to do is here, EPS is equal to, therefore EPS is equal to 3 lakh. Is it 3 lakh available for distribution? Yes, it is 3 lakh minus 1 lakh, that is preference dividend, minus 1 lakh. How much is preference shareholders? Equity share capital, capital employed. But the preference shares are there. Yes, dividend paid to preference shares 1 lakh. It is clearly given in the problem. So minus 1 lakh divided by number of equity shares. Number of equity shares, how much? 10,000 shares, right? Given in the problem as 10 each. 1 lakh capital, face value is 10. So 1 lakh divided by 10 is equal to 10,000 shares. 10,000 shares. I will extend here. Okay. So therefore EPS is equal to how much? Rupees 20 per share. Rupees 20 per share. Yes, this is how to solve a 12 marks problem with 6 ratios. Take the same problem as your assignment problem. Clear? And submit assignment on time. Students, with this, your ratio analysis comes to an end. And I have only one small chapter, cash flow statement. I think 5 to 6 hours are enough for me, because there are only small problems, 6 marks problems they will ask. That's all. No 12 marks problems from that chapter. So I'll brief it. I'll go in a brief, isn't it? Very brief. And in the meantime, we never know whether that chapter will be there for the exam or not. First of all, COVID is giving signal whether exams will be there or not. Then next question, if it is there, then whether cash flow statement will be there or not. Whatever it is, we will learn, so that our knowledge level at PU level, whatever knowledge is required in accountancy, that we will learn, friends. Whether exam is there or not, you just increase your knowledge level, so that when you go to higher classes, you will not face the problem of that is knowing these concepts, because these concepts will repeat in degree classes again. So better to study these things, whether it is there for exam or not. Let us not be exam oriented. Let us be both exam oriented and knowledge oriented. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.